Okay, set driven key is very easy to do. What I want to do is have this be the driver. I need a new attribute on it though. See, here I have a list of attributes that are on it, but I need one that says fire in here. So what I do is go to this tab and go to the attributes and say add attribute. Name it fire, make it keyable. I'm just going to turn it into a float, and its minimum can be 0, its maximum can be 20, and its defaulted 0 by default. And I'll add that in. Okay, so what that did is now when I click on the locator, I have this, fire. So very easy to add a new attribute editor in there. So that attribute's really powerful because now what you can do is assign it to do all kinds of crazy stuff all at once. Alright, one being, well, the option to fire it, of course. So here, it's going to default at 1, and I'll have to do a series of things. So set driven key, set. I highlight this one, and I say load driver. Well, what's it going to do? What's it going to need to change on there to make it work? Well, that's going to be fire. So by changing this to a 20, I should be able to fire the catapult. Now I did to 20 because that way I have a variance of winding it back up if I needed to. Okay, now if I highlight or click on this, this is my driven. So I say load driven, scoop. It'll ask me what I'm rotating it in. Well, I'm rotating it in X. Okay, and I can quickly judge that by clicking on the object and see the red, that's X. Okay, so right now at 1 or 0, it should look like this. So I'm just going to key it. Then I go back over here and first type in 20 and hit enter. Then in my side view, I will rotate this object until it hits this stopping point right here, and then I'll hit key. Okay, now let's test it out. I can go to this object right now, and then I can put my mouse over the top of fire right here, click on it, middle mouse button, click and drag, should make it go like this. That's middle mouse button, click and drag. Good, now you have a firing mechanism. Now you'll have to make, so this rotates just for fanciness, okay? And then again, this becomes my driver. So you can have the same button do a whole bunch of things at once. You just have to do them like one at a time. So this becomes my driver. Fire becomes its trigger point. This is my load driven. Where is it rotating at? It's going to rotate next to. At this point, I can key it. Okay, and then go back over here and change this to 20. Then go back over to here and rotate this 360 degrees in X. Okay, and I think that's a positive 360. Let me check that out. Yep. 360. And then I should be able to key it. Okay, let me test the mass out here. So I grab this, go like this, and it should wind up. Okay, and then again, the willow wheel is just, you know, just eye candy. You want to assign stupid stuff like that because it looks pretty sweet when you get it all done. And if you wanted this to twist right here, you could probably assign it some bones in that area and have them twist around the bones. But a non-linear deform on it will not work. Another thing you can do is manually rotate this. Let's do that. Let's manually rotate this little device, and we'll assign it to a pivot point. I think that'd look nicer. So this becomes the driver. This thing becomes the driven. And then that gets to be point constrained. Now you see what happens there. You can't use it two point constraints together. So each one would have to have a separate point constraint. So I'm going to take a locator device. Place it over here. I'm just going to offset this one a little bit. And I'm going to name this rope. Okay, that way I can grab it real quick. Okay, rope becomes a driver. This becomes a driven constraint, point constraint. Okay, let's see what the error is. Object is already connected. Okay, so what we're going to do for things like this is where we go into the hypergraph hierarchy and kind of see where it's attached. And if I remember right, yes, it is attached. It's attached to a poly surface. Okay, so the poly surface needs to go away. Okay, and then rope gets highlighted first, and then this, and then constraint point. And you can see now it works. So always check this. This hierarchy will save your life in more times than I can imagine. Okay, now the actual constraint. So first off, I highlight this, then the constraint, and then constraint parent. Okay, confused yet? Yeah. Okay, let's check it out, make sure everything works. Okay, well this moves. I'm just gonna move it out of the way just for a second, and I'm gonna make sure this moves. Yep, that moves. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Okay, let's go into highlight rope. Okay, highlight this one, highlight rope, constraint parent. There we go. Let's see what works now. Yes, perfect. Okay, now that it has its own pivot point, what we'll do is assign that. So when you go over here to fire and rotate it, the rope rotates also. Okay, and that's in the next video.